Hey guys, welcome back to another review, and today I'm going to be talking about the Insta360 X3. It's an action cam that I got recently in the mail, and I know it's been out for quite some time, but I really needed an upgrade from my GoPro Hero 9. The thing just has a lot of bugs. It sometimes records, sometimes doesn't, but it was annoying me for a while, and I wanted a new kind of action cam to put on my motorbike, so end up getting this one, and this is one of the coolest action cams I've ever used. I've only had a couple anyway before this, but it records 360-degree angles, so basically like everything around you, so you can never miss the shot. So even if you've got it facing this way, that way, mounted on the bike or whatever you're doing, it records everything like a full circle. So it basically stitches together the two 180-degree angle videos on each side. So this is the box, pretty sort of basic. I've already got the camera out, but it does come with this little safety pouch, which I think is quite important. You've got this little cleaning cloth as well, and I use that just to clean off the lens before I use it. Don't want to have any bits of dust or anything that gets in the way of the video. And you've got this little box here with a few additional accessories, basically just the cord. I've got so many of these USB-C charging cords. I haven't taken that one out. There are some quick start instructions in here, some stickers, a little bit of information about the warranty as well in there. That's pretty much it, apart from the cleaning cloth and the case that I showed you before. Insta360 X3 looks up close, and one of the first things you'll notice is that the lens is quite unusual, juts out. Okay, like these sort of fisheye lenses. So I thought that was a bit strange, kind of awkward when I'm placing it down. Especially, I'm kind of hesitant to just lay it down on a normal surface because I'm worried to scratch the lens. And yeah, there's pretty much no way you can put it down. Even if you have it on the side, it doesn't quite balance properly as well. So yeah, you can balance it like that, because there's a little flat section at the bottom, but on the sides it's really difficult. But even like this, I'm kind of worried it will fall over and potentially scratch the lens. Now there are some accessories that you can get with it. So there's some sticky lenses, I think, that you can just kind of like plastic bits that you put on the outside. I've also seen some glass ones that you can get through Amazon. But one thing I find is that when you're using those lenses, those kind of protective lenses, it can get in the way of the normal lens, and you get some weird artifacts, especially if you've got a bright light or something shining onto the lens. It just passes through the plastic or the protective glass a bit differently. So I think, yeah, if you're going to get one, make sure you get a good quality one out there. Check the reviews. I'm thinking of getting one myself because, yeah, if you drop it, and I think that's one of the probably the only limitation I can see of this camera, like if you drop it, you're pretty much stuffed. You're going to have to pay a few $100s or whatever it takes to repair those lenses. There's no protective layer on it whatsoever. Okay, so let's have a look down at the side. There are 4 different microphones. So you've got one here on the front, one here on the other side, and one here in the back. I think one of them is actually a speaker. I can't remember which one. One of these holes in there. Okay, so you've also got this port here. It's a USB-C charging port, and you can actually attach a little accessory dock in there, which then allows you to connect an external microphone. From what I've read, you can't connect a USB-C microphone directly onto it. I'm actually gonna try it later to see what happens, but I don't think it's gonna record through there. If you look here on the side, this is the battery. So you basically just press these 2 little buttons and it pops out like that. There you go. And it's a 1800 milliamp hour cell, so quite a decent capacity. And compared to the GoPros especially, it does last a lot longer. It goes a lot longer between charges. Okay, it is, you can see here there's a bit of waterproofing as well around the battery. There's blue stuff there, and over here is where you put the SD card in. Got a 256 gigabyte SD there, micro SD. Okay, so it all goes in there. Plonk the battery back in, Oops, if I got it in the right way. Yep. And essentially all you do is just press down and it locks into place. Very simple. You've got a 1/4 attachment point here at the bottom, which is pretty, it's pretty standard for any camera equipment that you already have. So I like how it's very compatible. For me, unfortunately, I have a lot of previous GoPro stuff that I want to adapt over. So I've ordered in a couple of, the GoPro prongs to the 1/4 conversion kit there, so I can use my old GoPro gear. Okay, but there are some external cases that you can buy that, basically put on, and they have the GoPro prongs at the bottom as well. Okay, so let's turn it on. So there's a couple buttons here. Basically, the side buttons, the on button, there's a quick menu. There's that one takes a photo. That one, what does this one do? Let's have a look. But turn it on. Can't remember. Actually, I don't really use that one all that often. That's to change the lenses actually. So yeah, turns on. Takes a little bit of time to turn on, as you can see. Okay, up in the corner, it's got the record time, how much is left. You've got the battery indicator on the top right, and interesting, it doesn't actually tell you the percentage of the battery indicator. So there's a point where it kind of becomes about a quarter, and when it starts getting about to a quarter, I'd say you got nearly about 20-30 minutes of recording time left. So here at the bottom, you can actually select the resolution that you want to record on. So you kind of just swipe left and right to change different frame rates. If you're recording at 5.7K, you've basically on 30 FPS or less. If you swipe right, there's all these configurations as well. You can just put it all in auto, or you can actually go in and set the ISO, the shutter speed, color profile, exposure compensation, the white balance as well, which is quite useful. Okay, swipe left. Or if you swipe left again, basically it goes to the album, but I've formatted the memory card recently. Swipe down and there's a whole bunch of different items here. And yeah, basically, I've left most of these just on stock. I think I've turned off the LEDs. That's pretty much it. Okay. But you can get into the settings here, and there's a few different bits and pieces that you can adjust. I've left pretty much all of it on the same, like video bitrate high, video sharpness high. Some people like to turn that down a bit low. It shows the memory card there as well. I don't think I changed anything else. I'm just trying to work out. No, I've pretty much left it in the same config. USB mode, you can change this, so when you connect it to your computer, what it turns into. So I normally leave it just on the disk mode, so it goes right into the SD card, so I can access the files. I do find that if I take the SD card out, put it in directly into my computer, it copies over the files a lot faster, nearly 3 times the speed. So yeah, keep that in mind, especially if you've got pretty large files in there. Okay, so yeah, basically just go back there. That button records, so basically hit the record button and you can see it starts recording. Takes a little bit of time. Okay, and then you basically press it again to stop recording. Now I have the quick record feature on, so what that does is when you switch the camera off and then immediately press this button from the off state, it turns on and it starts recording automatically. So this button here, and there's 2 ways you can sort of control the lenses. You can press that button and it switches to the inner lens, switches to the outer lens, and to 360 mode. Okay, or you can just press that button. This button's interesting. I think it just switches in between from the front and the back camera. Okay, but it still records in 360. But yeah, in order to select what mode you want to record in, you just click this button here on the side. Let me just show you again. Just that little video recorder button there. And yeah, there's a few options. 360 single lens. It's a 360 camera. I don't see the point of putting it to single lens mode, but some of you may only be interested in just using that, one of the lenses if you're recording one direction only. But as you can see, there's a whole bunch of options in here. The main ones I've used so far, just video and photo. So it takes a 72 megapixel 360 degree photo, and just the normal video mode. But there's a few other things here like time lapse, shift, loop recording, burst photos, HDR photos as well in there, and you can select which lens that you use as well. And one thing I really like about this touchscreen is that it's so smooth. It feels like I'm using a smartphone screen, and I've had a bad experience with a lot of other action cams, especially the GoPro cams, that just seem unresponsive. They're, the capacitive touch, they have the same sort of, they have similar looking touchscreens, but they're just not as sensitive and responsive, I guess, when you're using them. But yeah, I really find this one quite useful. But yeah, I really find this one quite easy to use, hassle-free. Here on the side, this Q button here is like the quick menu. So what this does, brings up a bunch of these settings that you can save in there. So as you can see, there's a whole bunch in there. But say if you want to, if you want to put in another one, and there's actually how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's 5 in there. You can only have 5. So you have to delete one off. But essentially, you just go in here, set everything like I showed you before, and then you go to that Q button, and then put that little plus, press that little plus symbol, and select the profile, and it saves that setting in there. So I wish that it had maybe a few more in there, but 5 is decent. So one of the great features that you get with the Insta360 is access to this application. So it's the Insta360 Studio app, and there's a computer version, Windows version, a Mac version, I believe, and there's just this version for your phone, so iOS or Android. I'm using Android on the Samsung Galaxy S23. So over here you can see a bunch of videos that I've taken over the last few days, okay, and these are all downloaded into my phone already, but essentially you tap that button there to connect it. But I find it easier when you download the videos onto your phone directly, okay? And this is just so amazing. Like, you can zoom in and out of the video, okay? You can pretty much rotate all the way around you. I've never seen anything like it before. Like, it's just incredible. You don't need to worry about how you're putting the camera on. You just chuck it onto the bike. I mean, I use it mainly for my bikes, but if I'm going for a walk, I've just got it attached to a selfie stick in my bag. It captures everything, and you can look up, you can look down, you can also zoom out and have this sort of tiny world effect. Okay, like that. Fast forward. Okay, so this app allows you to reframe it, and reframing just means to put it in the perspective that you want. So you might like this perspective, like this. How do I do it? Oops, don't want that. That tracks a point as well, but you can just have it in this perspective, maybe facing you. Okay, you can have it like this. You can add keyframes so that it transitions during the video. I've got pretty long videos in here, and the issue with that is, basically you're always having to reframe it unless you tick a little button here that says direction lock. So I put direction lock on, which will just say keep it in this particular view the entire time, so that you don't have to continually adjust, okay, as you turn corners and stuff like that. But you need to turn the direction lock off if you want to get different angles, transitioning from here to here, that kind of thing. There's a whole bunch of options in the editor as well. So you've got motion, kind of like a motion blur effect. You can speed up the video. This is something really cool. It's called multi-view, and I'll demonstrate that quickly. So as you can see, I've got the multi-view on, and what it does is that it actually uses the inner camera, and it figures out that you're in the frame there. And so if you're riding a bike like me, you can have this sort of mini photo of you in there and facing forwards. And this is pretty good if you're maybe a streamer or something like that as well. Oops, I only did it for that part of the video. Okay, so it eliminates the need to have two cameras when you can just have one, and you can also do live streaming like this as well. So it's going to look a lot better. Which reminds me, you can go back here, change the view to 9:16 as well. Okay, and export video like that. You can, what else can you do? You can go to change it. There's a couple of other settings like square orientation. I don't know what this is, 2.35 to 1. I've never used that perspective, that aspect ratio before. Yeah, I do notice when you zoom out of the image, you get a lot of curvature, as you can see, a lot more distortion, just due to the fact that it is a 360 camera. Okay, but I think it kind of looks cool in a way. When you zoom in, it's got more of a linear perspective. Everything flattens out, so you can get the same kind of effect as a normal action camera. And a lot of people say that these 360-degree cameras, they don't have as good quality video as a dedicated 4K action cam. But, you know, in my opinion, exporting this out, comparing it to my GoPro 9 hero footage, looks just as good. In fact, it looks better at times. So, yeah, unless you've got, you know, like a really top-notch one, I just find that it's so easy. You don't have to think about really how to frame anything. You just place the camera anywhere and it records pretty much everything around you. It's quite amazing. It's almost like having a photographic memory or something like that, because you can go back and look at this particular point. Oh, what happened there? There was this house, and you can kind of zoom in and see numbers and stuff like that as well, especially if you record at 60 FPS. You know, when you pause a video, it's still pretty smooth. I do really recommend this camera. I haven't had any issues with it compared to my GoPro just doing what it needs to do, like recording. And that's something that would frustrate me so often. I'd be out, press the record button, and there'd be some kind of error with the memory card, or that it'd be slow or something like that. And yeah, I've never had any issues with the Insta360 airing out or having any corrupt files. Whenever I press record, it records, stops. When I ask it to stop, when the battery gets low to about, I think, 5% or less than 5%, it will turn off automatically. But before it does that, it will save the video. And the cool thing as well is that because of this little thing here, I actually attach a charging bank, a power bank to it, and so it continually charges the battery while it's on my bike, and that will ensure if you've got like a longer video that you want to take, you're always going to get that shot, and the battery's not going to run out. Ease of this app as well. I mean, making content is just so easy. You can go to Snap, and you can see here as you move the phone around. Okay, you can basically hit record, and then it will record the video and the perspective that you're looking around at. So even if you point it up, point it down, you know, I just sit in a swivel chair and I record little clips, and you can send them to friends like that. It's very easy. But yeah, anyway, to export a video, you just tap this little export field up the top, and you can see here as you're exporting, there's a few settings. So 720, 1080, 1440, and 4K. So normally I actually set this on 4K. And yeah, just to make use of the great picture quality. I mean, probably 1080p would be all right as well. If you want a smaller file size, you can change the frame rate as well. That video was only recorded in 30 FPS, so I can't change it. Bitrate here as well. You can slide this one up and down as well, and hit export. So you've got everything basically on the phone. So a couple of considerations that you need to know about. So the app on your phone is a lot more put together than the one that you download on computer. So yeah, basically for Windows, there's a lot of features in here that are missing. One of them is multi-view, which is the feature I showed you before, where it has a photo of myself, the back camera facing towards myself. And I think that's really important with like motorcycle riding, and, you know, maybe if you're live streaming or something like that, you want to see in front of you, but you do want the viewer to have a bit of a personal connection to you as well. You can't do that on a computer, so you have to do it here. You can also, the good thing about this is this app is that you can actually stitch 2 different videos together. So another cool thing you can do in the app is you can go back here and you can create a video. You can select a bunch of videos, okay, like that, and it will add it into a timeline where you can basically just edit them, join them together, and create a really long video, which is good. There's also a lot of these little effects here, as you can see. So this effect sort of edits out the sky and makes a nice galaxy effect or artistic kind of effect, underwater effect, fly laps, a whole bunch of these effects, as you can see here. I've not really used any of them myself, but when you tap onto it, it gives you instructions on how to use it. So if you're a content creator, it makes it just so easy for you to take that the work out of going in and exporting it to another program, editing it, and everything is just like a one-tap thing. There's also an AI feature in here. I can't remember where it is, but it actually edits your videos and figures out little points to put keyframes and change the angles and stuff like that. So really fantastic action camera, and yeah, it's really one that surprised me because, you know, initially I thought these 360 cameras were a bit of a gimmick, but giving it a try, I really don't think I would go back ever to using a normal action camera. The convenience and the picture quality is fantastic. You know, it's pretty much, in my opinion, the picture quality is the same as a usual action camera, but you get this incredible view, this 360 view of everything, and that just makes it easy for you. You don't have to decide where to put the camera. Stick it on in any direction, even like this, in this sort of angle as well, like that. So anyway, that's about it. So I'll probably do another video after using the camera for another month or so and give you my long-term thoughts. But yeah, I've used this for probably about a week, about a week or just longer than a week now, and very impressed.